Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Oh, yes.
I sure do.
Oh, I hope we all do by this point.
Yeah.
Granted, it was only 3 weeks since our last show.
Yeah,
But
That is true, but, you know, the memory, she is a fickle thing.
this is true.
Why are we here again?
Us, mostly. And
Right.
game designs.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
good
I know.
remixes.
Okay,
And
let's
that's
just-
good.
the
It's-
shitty things game companies do, and hopefully the good ones too.
Yeah, all right, that's a pretty fair synopsis of what we do here.
It's also one of life's greatest mysteries.
Yeah,
Sure.
it sure is. It sure is.
Why not?
Really, red versus blue? Come on.
I haven't actually watched it.
It has been a time and a half since
Yeah.
I've last seen that.
And isn't
Okay.
it on Netflix now, I think?
Yeah,
think
it
you're
is.
right.
Like a
Yeah.
season at a
That's-
time is one episode or
That's
something?
really bizarre to
Yeah, a
me.
little bit.
It really is.
Well, it's insert credits. Round 76, what you call it this time.
Find your center.
Nice.
Find your center.
And apparently we will, because we're probably center panned.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm not really of the mind to try to pan it the way we are on the vidya.
Yeah, it's a
and-
little disconcerting, especially if people look at us in their point of view and then have it like
Right,
reversed for
right.
us or
And then we
whatever.
hear that weirdly panned, and they're like, "What the heck? Is there something wrong with our headphones or whatever?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not even going to bother with that because, especially people listening to this after the fact or on audio only right now, or be like, "What the heck are you?"
We
guys
found
talking
our
about?
center, and hopefully you did too.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that's fair enough. Well, welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
I am Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
You know what? 2020 has set a real low bar, so
Oh my god.
it can feel free to get better at any time.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even have to work that hard to do so. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
no.
But the thing is, like, if we
2020,
start at the bottom, we only have up to go, right?
That's the hope.
yeah, that's a real basic hope that
But
a
people
lot of
just
us
keep
have.
kicking that bar
Yep.
right
Yeah.
off.
Digging that trench a little bit deeper every day, it seems. So it's
Oh,
like,
there is no limbo. There is only death.
yeah.
Anyway, moving on to something that's less terrible.
Yeah, like housekeeping.
Well,
We have our next show scheduled for March. It's gonna be a bit longer of a gap this time since this
Yeah.
one was shuttled a week earlier,
Yeah.
Right.
and then March was shuttled a week later. So we're looking at a good 5 or 6 week gap this time.
Yeah.
We'll
make you one.
March the 20th
Yeah.
for
okay.
round 77. I believe we have April logged on here as well. Yes, April the 10th.
Cool. Easter
7
weekend.
PM.
sure.
CDT, I believe, by the time we get that far.
Pretty sure you're correct. I think it's the weekend before.
Is it the weekend before?
I
perhaps?
think.
It's
It's on the calendar is literally daylight savings ends.
I hope so.
pretty sure. I mean, that's what it is.
Oh, there we go. Oh no, that's way back in the second weekend of March.
Wow.
The 8th of March is when it finally goes back to actually understandable time. And then that's it. I think, did we bother with May? We
we just kinda
did
shrugged,
not. We just
so-
kind of went, nah, and then left it at that.
Yeah.
How about, let's see, what was April's? The 10th, right?
Yeah,
okay,
that
so
sounds
1,
right.
2,
Dang,
3,
you're making me get my
4,
calendar out.
5. How about May 15th, perhaps?
How about Outlook scroll my calendar?
That's not a date, but close.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, let's do that.
79, I want to say. I'm gonna call it 79.
Yes.
I don't know if that's the right number. Excuse me.
March, April. Yes.
Cool. Great. All right.
It was
I
like
will.
math.
I will post that to general calendar later.
Hell yeah.
And June.
Oh, God.
June.
We should really do the 12th.
Okay. 12th
Because
it is.
there's a good chance that we're going to SGDQ, and that is that weekend after.
Okay. Fair enough. That will be 80. Wow. 80.
Uh-huh.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I think we will stop there because that's 4 shows out. That is plenty.
Bueno.
That is plenty.
You know, this is real funny, though, because, like, if we were to continue into July, we'd probably be doing another one of my on-call weeks again.
Fantastic.
Yay. Because it's either the 10th or the 17th. There's
Mhm.
5 Fridays in July.
Cool. We could use more Fridays. Please, more Fridays.
I
Yep.
don't disagree.
Let's replace some Mondays with Fridays. I think I'd be okay with that.
You have you're onto something, I think.
Right?
Yeah, there
You
we
know,
go.
it's-
Words are hard.
Nobody likes
Wow.
Mondays. Everybody likes Fridays. Why are we even keeping Mondays around?
Yeah, it's like you kind of turn it into like bookends where it's like it's the weekend on both sides.
Yeah, that sounds great, actually.
Mhm.
Like, why are we even pretending Mondays are our thing that we want in our week?
True that.
But anyways, around the world, some actual game news. You remember back in late 2000s, I want to say, that big patent infringement lawsuit against Nintendo for the motion sensors in the Wii controller, which also extended the Wii U controller.
Right, yeah.
That judgment has been reversed, and the patent itself has been invalidated.
Huh.
11 years
Hooray!
later?
Quite some time later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've been fighting that one for some time.
Yep. So rip that patent. It was deemed overbroad and shouldn't have been patented in the first place. So
Patent trolls.
rip
man.
that patent judgment.
Mhm.
Go Nintendo. Go banana. Okay, well, I guess we're going to roller coaster this a little bit. Rocket League, originally developed by Psyonix, who were then summarily bought out by Epic Games, will be dropping native support for Linux and macOS, citing DirectX 9 to 11 support and low player proportions. I find it kind of funny that back when it was still Psyonix doing Rocket League, that they managed to maintain that support, even though they were a tiny-ass team. And now Epic Games is being like, oh, no, we're just going to not support that anymore. So the game will still run, except it won't have any online play, which is pretty much the core of Rocket League.
Yeah.
So it's not great. It's really not a great move. I mean, I don't play it, so I don't really care that much. But on principle,
Yeah.
on principle,
Yeah.
I disagree with that move. And not really a big fan of Epic Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that has been a
this
recurring
reason.
theme for
Yeah.
probably the last 5 or 6 shows,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, they've been making some moves,
Some choices.
so
Damn it.
some
I want-
choices.
I want like early 2000s Epic to come back.
Right?
Damn it.
Yeah, it was real good back then, but now, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not
Everybody
so
giving
sure.
up that do no evil.
Yeah. Well, to
Well,
their
that's
defense,
because, like shareholders don't really like that stipulation.
right? That costs them money, or it doesn't produce as much money.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's not really costing them anything.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
leaving money on the table.
Anybody remember Atari, the company, not the consoles?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the concept of Atari.
The concept.
I didn't know that name
the
as
thought of Atari.
I didn't know that name as like a corporate entity still existed. I thought that was
Yeah.
bankrupt, dead, buried in the ground, and burned the ashes or whatever.
Fair.
They've been
Um,
recycling the IP that's been tumbling around for a while.
Yeah, so Atari, the entity,
Yeah.
is opening video game hotels around the United States. 8 hotels, video game themed or whatever, with casual gaming lounges, esports stuff, just very gamer capital G centric crap in these hotels. And
Gamers. All right.
Right,
Gamers.
right, gamers. And I guess that's cool. I'm guessing it's gonna skew more towards the Fortnite style gamers
Yeah.
rather
Gamers.
than classic gamers. So it's more like I don't know how to feel about this just yet.
Well, yeah, because you just know that because they're going to be like, well, we're providing all the things that gamers want. Ergo, you can't bring your own gaming shit or hook it up or anything like that. We want your gamer money. Can't wait for that
Which there's a lot of gamer money out there.
one.
So
yeah, absolutely.
I guess it's a prudent business move. I'm really astonished why they'd pick hotels of all things. But I guess for, event hosting and tournaments and the LOLs and the Dotas and all
Yeah.
that sort of thing, it's very
It's-
big business.
Why is it got to be Atari?
I don't know.
It couldn't have been like Commodore, where they totally could have like taken the slogan from Impossible Mission,
Right.
Stay a while, stay forever. Like,
That would have made a lot more sense, and also very dystopian, which is very timely. So
no, it fits
At
with
least
the aesthetic.
do the voice. Come on.
All right, fine. Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever. It's so
campy.
ridiculous.
Amazing.
Voice synthesis, yes.
Amazing.
Oh yeah,
Or whatever it was back then.
that's it. That's what it is, and it's kind of
Your
amazing.
8-bit PCM audio back then or whatever.
Oh
Well,
no,
at
that's
least-
1 bit.
1 bit? Oh,
Yep,
that's even better.
it is absolutely 1 bit.
At least that
Delightful.
was understandable, I suppose.
It's not even 2-bit. Damn.
Nope.
Right. Well, anyways, Atari's weird, and apparently it still exists. So they're opening hotels, video game hotels for the gamers.
That is the most appropriate emote I could think of.
It's pretty
For
good,
for the
solid
gamers.
choice.
Mhm.
So Spelunky, that's been a game that's been kicking around a lot.
Yeah.
It has, yeah.
The first completion of a haunted max low no gold hell run was a thing that happened.
What kind of Sunday is that?
In the right in the past week in 19 minutes and 45 seconds by Kineship.
Huh, that's the name.
So
yeah.
haunted max low no gold hell.
Please explain.
So
Yeah.
max means you visit all the sub areas, so the mainline levels plus
I thought there were only some places that you could go. I thought it branched at one point, like the alien spaceship and stuff.
there's apparently a route that you can take that you get all of them in one go. So hence the max
Whoa.
part.
Is
So
Is that new?
So the worm, the mothership, City of Gold obviously is required for the Hell Run
Yeah.
part. The haunted castle in the jungle area, Black
Sure.
Market obviously is also included in there for the Hell portion of it. So max run, so visit all these separate sub areas.
Yeah.
Low percent,
Uh-huh.
so you cannot pick up any items besides the ones that you need to get into Hell. So you don't pick up the eye to be able to identify where to get into the Black Market. You
Oh.
get the Hedget, the little gold hat thing.
Yeah.
Out of the ice caves, you get the Ankh. To in order to get the Hedget, you get the I forget what the scepter. Thank you,
Yeah.
the scepter.
Uh-huh.
In order to unlock the City of Gold, to get the Book of the Dead, so you can identify and actually get into Hell. But you can't pick up any more equipment. You can't get any more bombs. You can't get any more ropes. You can't get any weapons. You can't get a gun or anything like that. So you get your 4 bombs, your 4 ropes, and that's all you get to complete the game with
For
to
the
make this a
whole
valid
thing.
run. Yep.
Ooh.
No gold, so don't pick up any gold. No gems, no money. Nothing that earns you money.
That sounds tricky.
Yeah, sure is. So any little kind of fragment of gold that flies in your face while you're blowing shit up or
Oh,
whatever.
God.
Invalid run. Invalid run.
No, that
No
sounds
golden
awful.
shower.
Right? And then Hell. Get through the entire game up to Olmec and then through the Hell area at the end.
Uh-huh.
So that's a lot of conditions.
Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
is.
The first of its kind completed just recently. So I
Right.
watched that a couple nights ago. I was like, yeah, that's something I would never do, but hey, it's interesting.
Mhm.
So
It's
haunted
very cool
means
to
that you
watch.
have to wait for the
That-
ghost every level, or what?
I couldn't figure out what haunted meant in this context. I was expecting blow up enough altars so that the ghost is a permanent fixture, but apparently that wasn't the case, and it's just a word they appended onto this thing
Sure.
because they didn't have enough syllables going
Yeah,
on.
apparently.
Anyways, very
Yeah.
interesting watch.
Tasty Sunday. All right.
Obviously not possible in every run because sometimes you do get the areas that skip you ahead far enough where you miss a critical part of the run. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
rip, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of so I'm pretty active in like the NetHack community and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what people will do is they'll attempt to score as many conducts and still
Right.
ascend.
Yep.
And there's some pretty simple ones like wish list, like you don't wish for anything the entire game. Artifact list, you don't use any artifacts, that kind of thing. But then you start getting to the really nuts ones like food lists.
How?
Where you have to pray to absolve your hunger or
Yeah,
something, and it's
just
ridiculous.
some absolutely wild stuff.
Yeah.
Like, there's even ones for like, being a vegetarian or being vegan
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
like stuff like that. But
I suppose it would track that stuff.
yep,
wouldn't
it
It sure would.
absolutely
NetHack.
does.
The developers think of everything.
Yep.
Of course they do.
But like I've seen, like I think someone recorded ascending in a foodless illiterate run, and so that means you can't
How in
read
the heck?
anything.
No reading
Or cast
scrolls or
spells?
spell books.
Yeah.
Could you use
Jeez.
wands, I suppose, since that doesn't involve reading?
Right, you can use
But you can't
wands in that
identify
case.
them, can you?
I don't know,
You
actually.
can. Well,
'Cause
there
if
are
you-
other ways you can identify items, though.
yeah, you can engrave with wands and watch the stuff there. You can
Just
quaff potions. to
Zap them
identify
and
'em,
hope for the best.
Yeah, right. I mean,
And back then, you couldn't spell Elbereth. maybe.
Yeah, Albereth
suppose,
will
yeah.
also invalidate your illiterate run.
That's funny. I
That's
love it.
right. I never used Elbreth.
Shit, I really want to watch that now.
That's
I'll
wild.
see if I can. Yeah.
I can't imagine how long a run like that takes, though. Like that sounds like it's very tedious.
Yeah, I don't remember how many turns or how much time in real time it takes.
Just
But,
Punch your way through those walls or something.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, lots of pickaxes, I'm guessing.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
anyways, that's my small spate of topics since it's been only 3 weeks since our last show. I didn't
Yeah.
want to overload it too much, so proceed.
I can do that.
Either of yous.
So, NVIDIA. They don't have any new GPUs to announce, but they sure announced GeForce Now. It's a streaming gaming service that went live for everyone on the 4th of February. It was beta before. And I guess their hook is that they allow you to play games you already own on other streaming game platforms. Like if you have a Steam library, you don't need to buy your games again. And,
Well, that's a plus.
Yeah.
And they have a free tier where you can just play games that you own already, and you don't have to render it on your own PC. You just, it could be a Shield device, Android, Mac, Linux, Windows, not iOS apparently, but whatever. They also have a paid tier, which is like the founders tier that they have right now. It has 90 days of free service, but it also turns RTX on. I'm sorry.
Excuse?
I couldn't say that without laughing.
So wait, the RTX is the premium here.
Yeah, okay. So the free thing is standard access. What that means, I don't know. But you only have a 1 hour session length.
Oh, well,
for founders, it's $5 a month for 12 months, but you do get the free 90-day introductory period. It turns RTX on. Sorry, still laughing. Extended session length, doesn't say how long, and priority access.
I want to be able to play for
boy.
like more than an hour or two. Like I want to be able to kill a whole weekend on this platform.
Yeah,
So
what-
imagine your parents who have no time to play games except before bed. Honestly, that free tier would probably be okay. But like for gamers, they would need to probably fork over that $5 a month.
Anyone who boots up
Yeah.
a game for more than an hour at a time, which is like most people I know.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what constitutes a play session then. Like every 24 hours? Or,
Yeah.
Big old shrug. I can look at membership options here. Yeah, but I mean, their big thing here is connect to your favorite stores and stream your library of games. You make your purchase on your personal store account. Your games will always stay with you, etc. Membership. Oh, yeah. It just brings me down to the anchor point in the page for those two membership options.
Yeah.
So that sounds interesting, I guess. There's a lot of I guess. Going on.
I mean, just from that description, it sounds like it beats Stadia as far as not
Yeah,
having
it's
to repurchase everything.
there's a number of blog sites comparing this to Stadia, and they're like, this is the feature set that Stadia should have had.
And Stadia apparently hasn't launched any exclusive titles in 40 days or something like that. I don't know.
40 whole days.
Something like that? I don't know. I read something and I didn't think it was newsworthy because we all know Stadia sucks.
And
Yeah.
they were only expecting, 11 plus by July or something this year, I think we had brought up last time. So
Like potentially hundreds of games.
Yeah.
We just have 11 right now.
up to.
yeah.
I'm hearing the up to wiggle words there.
Oh my God.
Gee,
a
it's
lot.
just like an
I
ISP.
hate those.
yeah,
yeah.
right?
Up to, that is the most shady
Yeah, it's
shit.
the dumbest. I hate
Yeah.
it.
Up to infinity. Hey, we're seeking infinity.
I mean, I get. Well, yeah, we were at
Yeah.
some point. Yeah, it's still accurate. Oy.
Couldn't let that joke go. Anyway, so yeah, that's NVIDIA's streaming game service. Let's just call it, the new flavor of the month at this point.
Mm-hmm.
The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time any percent.
Oh,
Holy
no, that's right.
fuck.
Yeah.
So they finally figured out arbitrary code execution. And initially that route required you to go into the Deku Tree to get the slingshot. You needed to get the fairy ocarina. You needed to get some nuts and some other stuff. So eventually what would happen is you would use a combination of a strange file name. Of course, we're fucking with memory again. And you manage to lock the camera in such a way that you run off of screen so it doesn't follow you. You pick up an object that's not loaded, you drop it, and then it, forces sprites to fall out of their slots and stuff.
Okay.
And eventually you do a bunch of stuff and you fall through the floor in Kokiri Forest and it warps you to the credits. This has since been
Fun.
optimized. That first route was 16-ish minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's now below 9.
Woof.
So, if you remember Narcissa Wright, she has the current world record. However, this is fraught with drama. The time has come down since then, but they are not verified runs because people are carving notches into their controller to get the right angle to hold the camera at. So now they're wondering, are physical modifications to controllers allowable in these categories? And things like that. There's also a New Game Plus run. So you already set up the memory ahead of time by having other files that you've done the glitch on.
I see.
And you start a new file and it immediately warps you to the credits.
Oh my.
So it's like 1.64 seconds.
Wow. All right.
So like you push A and
And time.
Yeah.
So people keep finding different file names. Of course, this is the Japanese version because it exposes more symbols and things. But they keep finding different file names that have different payloads. And this has also affected the 100% route because now they have a no source required category extension for 100% because you can use a similar glitch and you know the little crawl way that you go to get the Kokiri sword? Apparently you do some weird fuckery and you lock the camera kind of in that area and you stand in a corner and as you rotate the C-stick, or not the C-stick, the analog stick, it overwrites contents in your inventory RAM. So that you like vary your angle just a little bit and you can't hold it for too much because you might get too much of something like you could accidentally delete bomb chews and never get them back or something like that. But yeah, there's a very short 100% route now because you can get every item in the inventory, but of course you still have to go and defeat the dungeons and everything.
Right.
But there's if you have every item in your inventory and can freely go between Adult Link and Child Link, like so I watched one run that was a proof of concept that ended up being the world record at the time, where I think it was ZFG accidentally held too long in the position for a heart count, and it started wrapping across the screen, and it was just like, oh honey, and you have what is it, double health, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And you take a bunch of damage and you literally don't see the hearts go down. But it's interesting because you get a fairy fill up and it only heals you 20 hearts. Because that's max.
How much
hearts.
they would have ever expected to have, right?
Yeah. So it's all kinds of fucked up, but I mean it's real fun to watch. Definitely go check out an example of both of those. There's a lot of discussion going on in that community for how they want to verify runs, how they want to split them out into their own subcategories, because everybody has a route preference. Of course, it is speedrunning. So, another Zelda game that has been seeing some more activity lately. And Tom can probably tell us more about this one, because Tom is the one who showed me the drama to begin with. Tom showed me a couple days ago that there is a setup in Ice Palace in one of the rooms, and I'm sure the room has a name. But if you / at the door to the left, it's the room where you come up on the right side with the staircase, you have the single chest, and you can't get through because the push blocks aren't push blocks.
It's the room where you originally get the big key in the vanilla game.
In vanilla, yeah. So apparently if you're on the left side entering from, well, I guess that other side, you can face the door, / a couple times, drop a Samaria block, it flies back and lands on you. You pick it up, you let it go, and you walk through that centerpiece.
It just plops you on the other side.
Nice.
And it's not like it clips you in, it just, whoop, you walk right over.
Screw this wall, I'm out.
And I'm just like, oh, wow. And the discussion that they're doing right now is this a major glitch? Because it involves Samaria blocks and doors. Sort of. Maybe I've got that wrong. That's what I got out of that conversation with Tom. But there's the which categories do we allow this in conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like none of the NMG categories probably, but whatever. You get the point.
Yeah.
So you skip like 3 entire rooms just by not having to go in them. Because you can be like, oh, I'm just going to go get that big key now. Thanks, bye. And go get yourself that blue mail and whatever else, and depends on the category, but yeah.
I mean, I guess depending on what else is allowed, you wouldn't even need to go get the big key. That's one of the few, with a proper bomb jump, that's one of the few dungeons you can do without a big key.
Now you don't have to do a bomb jump. It actually avoids the bomb jump.
Right, because you just get the big key and go straight on down.
Yep.
You already have Samaria anyway, so...
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm just like...
Very
cool.
curious. Very curious.
So I'm actually pretty excited. Tom is going to be visiting tomorrow morning through Sunday afternoon. I'm going to dip my toes into the wild world of what the fuck is going on in this Link to the Past engine. And no guarantees that I will actually retain anything, but it's one hell of a time watching an all glitches run. True any percent. So, I mean, all dungeons with glitches is pretty bueno. It's pretty great. Watching a no logic randomizer, also pretty great. Entering Ganon's Tower early because you have progression items in Ganon's Tower. That kind of thing.
Puke.
Yep. It's real
I
good.
think I will relegate to only watching those and never actually doing one of those.
Yep.
So what you're saying is we need to teach you things.
Negative.
They
That is
are-
the exact opposite of what I'm saying.
They are those kinds of runs are a spectacle. Like
I just keep watching. I'm like, what the fuck? And of course, almost everything requires a 1.0 ROM. So,
Right. Yeah.
well, obviously the randomizer is based off of JP 1.0, but like in theory, the American 1.0 would behave the same. So, to answer Vlad's question,
Bizarre.
I doubt that I'll be streaming anything because I'm on call, and there's probably going to be a lot of talking and a lot of sitting there and watching the same thing repeatedly and just being like, huh? So, probably not. But if I do learn anything, I will probably fuck around in the practice round and be like, look at this thing that just broke. Oops, the VRAM's corrupted.
Reset.
So, speaking of, if you like video RAM corruption, go watch yourself the reverse boss order category for Link to the Past.
yeah.
It is all kinds of what the fuck am I seeing? Or not seeing because RAM is corrupting. You can't tell what's going on the screen. You just
Mhm.
need to know where to walk and hit.
Mm.
So if you remember at PAX, way back when we went to that speedrunning panel with
mhm.
I Ate Your Pie and Andy Lasso and the hell's the last guy's name? I know who he is. I just can't remember his name right now. But in any case, Andy ended up doing the RBO run, and that was just like first time I'd ever seen anything like that. Really, my first introduction to speedrunning, kind of.
And that was several years ago already, so
5 years ago.
by now...
That was
It
you and
wasn't
me.
5 years.
Were you there?
Is that 2016?
I
the
was
last
there
time
for
we
that.
went?
Were you? Okay, so
Yeah,
that
it
would
would
have
have
been
been
2016.
2016,
yeah,
Okay.
because we went and saw that with Hupfen.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, because I remember that it was like at a totally different hotel
Mhm.
because that
Mhm.
that stage was its
Mhm.
own thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, no, that was a thing, and it was really fun to watch. So if you like seeing the game just turn itself on its head, that's a good
Mhm.
category to watch. So yeah, Link to the Past along with Ocarina of Time both have some interesting things going on in the speedrunning realm. And speaking of Link to the Past, one more time, between our drive to Seattle and my visit in January, Vlad finished his first ever 100% playthrough of Link to the Past. As a matter of fact, that was his first playthrough at all, and found all the heart pieces, got all the items. Everything is well and good.
Nice. And
So
you're ready for randomizers.
honestly, that's kind of what we intended to do. Tom totally didn't make a plandomizer. Cough.
Oh, no.
Or rather went to the Plandomizer site to do something special, but I don't know. I have the ROM somewhere. I think it's on my SD to SNES. And at some point, I think the intent is just to play it and see what happens. And it's not going to happen this next visit because we have a lot of other things to do. But at some point, maybe, later this year when we're possibly living together, we'll have more time to play retro games. And randomizers will be a thing. They'll be good. So, yeah, I'm probably going to start getting more into randomizers myself. As I mentioned on the last show, over like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, etc. I ended up playing my first solo randomizer seed that I'd done in over a year. And it was just under 5 hours. But that's because I insisted on checking everything possible before I went to the next logical place. So it's like, I want to get every item I could possibly get before I go to what's open.
Fair.
So
fair.
I did that. I ended up with like 18 hearts and
red mail and riot shield and butter and...
I'm not sure if I had the riot shield, actually. I think I may have only had the fire shield.
Well...
But, I mean, it was still fine. Right. But, I mean, it was largely fine. Most of it was me forgetting the route through Ice Palace, going back and doing it 3 times. And then I hate Mire. I hate it so much. But yeah, I mean, I tried to go left side first, realized shit, I don't have any keys. Then I had to go back over to the right side, and then I forgot how to get over to the left side, and then it was just like, oh god. I didn't look at any maps. So I was just like,
well, there's your first problem.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I did use Emo Tracker for the first time. So I actually had the map tracker, and that was nice. That was very nice. And then I forgot to mark off the items in the dungeons. Then I was like, shit, did I actually get them all?
Oh, no.
So there was a lot of that going on. So I'm still learning how to actually use a tracker. But at some point, I want to talk with Tom and get the USB to SNES going again with the auto-tracking business that it does. Because that would be bueno.
Bueno.
Uh-huh. Last piece of news. The Nintendo Switch has officially overtaken the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in total sales with more than 52 million units sold.
Ooh.
Yep.
Wow.
Which is an undertaking.
That's an achievement.
Yes,
certainly.
SNES, I believe, was the top-selling Nintendo console, was it not?
I believe it was.
Was.
Yep. Was.
And now
past tense.
But lots of Nintendo-heavy news and then silently giggling at NVIDIA.
Yeah.
That's what I had. How about you?
All right, so more. I'm gonna lean more towards the PC side of things here. So the Threadripper 3990X landed.
Oh, please don't pan that camera down anyway.
Yeah, 64 cores, 128 threads. But it's not
$990.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They still don't consider it a data center CPU because they've put in,
right.
you know, like all the things enthusiasts love, like overclockability and
mass. Never mind. Sorry about EPing anyway.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oof.
What is that, like 4.2 teraflops of power just by itself when it's running at full frequency?
Yeah, it's
just woof.
That TDP.
When you start hitting that core count.
You weren't around for that. Okay, go on.
What's that?
Go on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when you start hitting that core count, it becomes very difficult to find workloads that can effectively use that many cores, which is what happened in a lot of the benchmarks out there for this.
Good lord.
So you're talking about TDP real quick.
Yeah. Oh god, this.
Someone liquid cooled liquid
they would
nitrogen
have to
cooled,
have
whatever.
Yeah. LN2.
Some stupid ridiculous cooling.
Okay,
and they did an all-core overclock at 5.5 gigahertz.
Oh!
And it pulled 1,300 watts.
Oh my god!
I was just like, damn.
They have 2 power supplies running that sucker?
They have 2 kilowatt power supplies now.
2 kilowatt?
They do.
What does that take, like a fucking appliance outlet?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
It actually takes a no, it's got to be a 20 amp outlet.
It has to be.
At the very least.
Because I think it maxes out at like 1,400 watts where you can still be on 15 amps. Yeah. I saw that and I was just like, fuck. It's cheaper than renting a server, but fuck.
They still had the analog power meter measure things going.
Yeah.
I mean, you put your power strip, the thingy that measures it, the wall, and it was just kind of like, the fuck, mate?
That's
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's just
you plug it into a UPS beep.
Yeah.
Immediately. Yep. It's so perfect. Like, if you wanted an efficient heater, there you are.
Well, I don't even. There's more efficient heaters.
That was the joke.
Like, if you're just looking for heat, I can give you better sources than that.
I don't know, like heat that is generated through like electric current sounds
God.
like some of the most
What's this about
efficient.
Prescott P4s? I don't know.
That's true. We'll have to pit them against one another.
Also true.
Please melt through
Also
the board
true.
again.
I've still got a Prescott processor that's like I don't think it's in the high 3 gigahertz. I think it's like 3.8 or something.
The average
and-
is probably the fastest for that.
For that era, I'm sure.
yeah.
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 Because I don't think they hit 4 with Prescott.
No, they did 4 with whatever came after that. I forget. But
Hyperfitting.
yeah.
That's
2
just-
threads. Big performance.
Yep.
Sorry, I can't stop. It's so
It's
perfect.
okay.
Like, what was the process at that point?
100
In the hundreds of nanometers
Well,
still at that point.
Pentium 4 would have gone down to 65. No, they didn't reach 65 at that point. Maybe it was 95, something like
I
that.
think 65 was the first generation Core series. is when
Yeah,
they started
that's
that.
yeah. 65 was the core series, so maybe it was like
Regardless, we're
100.
down to 7
Yeah.
Yeah.
at present, and then in theory,
7.
Zen 3.
Gigantic
Yeah.
asterisk 7.
Well,
It's so-
yes.
It's so nuts. The processor I'm
TSMC.
using in my retro box is on the 130 nanometer process. That was manufactured in 2001.
And supposedly Zen 3 is going to move down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, allegedly.
Whatever that means nowadays. Like,
Yeah.
who knows what they're measuring and how they're measuring and if it's consistent, and it
Yep.
certainly isn't between different
And
manufacturers.
Intel is still on whatever they call 15, so whatever.
I just
Are they not? Did they get to 10 yet? Or
I don't believe they have.
not at volume, perhaps. Yeah.
yeah, you
They have their own fabs, so I don't know why they wouldn't be at volume, but
Alright.
whatever. Anyway, hi.
It's tough
Yeah.
stuff. It's tiny. It gets tiny when you can't use a tweezers to
Yeah, right.
rearrange the components by hand anymore.
they're finding that like physics gets real weird when you start making things that small and pretty unstable. So the fact that they're able to do even a 7 nanometer process is pretty amazing.
Yeah, you get into weird extreme UV lithography
Yeah.
and all sorts of weird bananas garbage. So it's okay.
Yep.
Well, a lot of smart people are working on that, but it blows my mind.
That is a problem that I'm glad I'm not working on because that is
Oh boy.
that is some pretty high level shit.
It's got to be some real interesting materials science, though.
Yeah.
At this point, right?
Yeah.
Phew.
Yep. Yes, I have more.
No, I know. I'm just waiting for the 4990X before I'm just kind of like, with all
Yeah,
my money at some
I
point.
know you're.
You don't ever need that.
You're right. But it's
what
the thought.
a waste.
I need 96 VMs running at the same time.
He's totally taken the aperture approach. We do what we must because we can.
But that's not even a must.
I mean, it
Do what
depends
you
who
want
ask.
because you can, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, oh dear.
Phew.
Anyway,
Yep.
Tina's a bad influence. Moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, so more PC news. Every time I mention that I'm a Blizzard, like a huge fan of Blizzard, right? Well, historically huge fan of Blizzard.
They just need
I'm
to
not
keep
going
kicking
to
that run down again.
Good.
I'm not going to express my disappointment.
I think you have.
Yeah, that's true. Warcraft 3 Reforged. Oh dear. Yeah, so let's go down the line list of items. here.
Sure.
Please do.
Yeah,
Sure.
so Blizzard had promised that they were going to overhaul the UI. You know, kind of come up with,
They
with an
sure
all-new
did.
UI for Warcraft 3. They ended up rolling it back to the classic one. They said that they were going to be like, you know, all new netcode and more optimization and stuff. Rolled that one back too.
Have they done anything other than, ooh, look, a new executable? We
It's-
compiled it this year.
You know, it's really difficult to tell at this
Cool.
point.
They didn't. Got it.
They
Sounds great.
in kind of an unprecedented move, Blizzard has elected to adopt an alternate refund policy for this game. You can get a refund immediately if you don't want it. You never get that with Blizzard products, but you get that with
Okay.
Warcraft 3 or Forge.
I was just
Fair,
waiting for it
I
to be like, here,
suppose.
have a free loot box.
Yeah, and like so one of my
Store
coworkers
credits.
had like, he had invested a bunch into Blizzard. He's all like, "Oh man, this is gonna be such a great release." And he comes in like like the day that it happens. He's all like, I am just so devastated at this. He's like, Blizzard,
Why?
yeah, it's pretty much that. Like all morning, I'm like,
Hand banana, no.
oof.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he showed me the graph and everything. It's just been a really really tough week for Blizzard, and
I just liked how they redid the main menu.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, likewise.
Not so much how it looked, but how they ran it, how they built it,
Yeah.
technology wise. Electron.
Oh yuck.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
Because Warcraft 3 on your iPad.
I don't understand what the obsession is.
There were
over
some
that.
anecdotes that the main menu, because it was built in Electron, was burning a core and a half,
Huh?
and way beyond what the actual game was
Yeah,
using.
of
for
course.
the express reason that it was using Electron to do this shit. So
Please let me beg developers
Why?
to stop using Electron.
like, I like the concept of it. It's great. I love having shit self-contained like that.
yeah.
But my goodness, the implementation is
Yeah,
terrible.
Like so, it's
It's like the Java
self-contained
virtual machine.
Oh,
and portable and this and that.
side
Like
by side with different versions and
Right,
shit, just to make
right.
sure it runs. Like, that's great. But
it
boy.
is very often the inappropriate tool for the job, especially
Yeah.
for something like this.
like a game menu.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have enough JavaScript.
I don't understand. Like, what would possess you to do this? Like,
Lazy developers. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Nah.
Yep.
Nah. That's the big part that I heard about, which made me chuckle quite heartily.
Yep. I did not hear that one. That is oof.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not what they were hoping for with this, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah.
The giggles. They happen.
Also, I guess related to PC stuff, and if you've been in the PC scene for a really long time, this name might sound really familiar to you.
Oh no.
Microprose.
What?
Microprose is back.
Microprose, yeah.
How about MrBond? Is that coming back too?
I
they
think
ever
that's
leave?
owned by Activision.
Oh. God damn it. Going back to Blizzard again.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But Microprose, yeah, they have a website back up. They have some teasers. They're all simulation related, which is just the same as what Microprose used to be really big name for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I want to see if they can pick it up where they left off. I know that like back then Microprose was bought up by like Infogrames, and then it was Atari, and then like they got stuck in IP hell and nobody was able to pick up any of Microprose properties or anything like that. So
Nobody knew who owned what, and
Yeah,
everybody
it's-
was scared to kind of try it because of
just
all
a
that garbo.
quagmire of IP and stuff like that. So
Oh, yeah.
what I really hope is, Microprose can kind of pick up where it left off in the 90s and continue doing like, simulation-based stuff and become a force in that again.
What's this gap in your resume? Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Talk about the before time.
I took a
Ooh.
break.
Yeah, it's been over 20 years, so,
A long break.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
That is a
true.
long bender.
So we'll see. We'll see if it's just like, we bought the IP and this is a cash grab, or if it's like, we want to pick things up where they were left off. So
Obviously, the latter being the most wholesome choice.
yeah, absolutely.
The one
And
you would hope
you
for.
want to believe
Right.
it, but time will tell.
Neat.
It's a roller coaster of a news section, I think.
Yeah.
just a smidgen.
Well, Microprose did also put out Roller Coaster Tycoon, so
Ah.
they know a thing or two
But
about that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good then. Is it time for Toonskis yet? I feel like we've earned ourselves some music.
Groove Buster by Hanging Waters from Deltarune.
Then a remix from the Goonies entitled It's Our Time by Vures.
And finally, I've got Empty Nest from The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening by Rebecca E. Tripp.
Okay, we've been playing some stuff maybe if in between everything else that's been going on. I hope,
Just a
right?
little.
Yeah.
Just a little. Literally just a little. I've
Just
only
a
been
little.
playing
Yeah.
one game.
Oh, well, what is it?
I ended up playing TGM again.
Did you PB?
I might have. I'm not actually sure. So I actually wanted to bring
You
up a
might
photo
have.
of the screen that I took, or a screenshot from the data path card. And yeah,
And
there's my burrito. Oh, there's Vlad. Oh.
PBdo.
So, like the third game I ended up getting back into after having not played for a while, I got a fairly solid S5. So
Nice.
I don't know if that's a PB.
Seems good. Yeah, nobody's gonna be able
So,
to see
like-
that.
That's fine. I don't care. But I mean, I was just like, well, shit. I'm in the 600s. It's only probably the second time I've ever seen that background before. So
That's pretty awesome.
Okay.
I was just like, well, apparently I still have a little bit. That was on the 21st of January. So yeah, it was after last show.
Yeah,
Aw,
Proud of you.
thanks.
GG,
That's all I played.
as they say.
All right, well, I can go next. My list is a little bit longer, but not that much longer. So continuing to play World of Warcraft Classic.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm pretty much raid logging at this point, and what that means is log in for raids, do them, log off, and wait for the next one. So yeah. In the meantime, I've picked up some other games. I went shopping for some old games that I used to play and really enjoyed, and I found a few games on CD-ROM.
And
One
one,
of
of
the-
which you were very disappointed by.
All right.
What?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll talk. Yeah, I'm
There you
going to
go.
talk about that
I
one.
didn't want you to forget.
I'll get around to that one.
Okay, okay.
Oh dear.
I didn't play it. That's why I didn't write it down.
Okay.
So among those are Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, which is like my favorite in the whole series. Like Tony Hawk's Underground is great. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is just such a blast. So I put a bunch of time in that earlier this week. I picked up Forsaken, which I had never played, but it was suggested that I do because it's another 6 Degrees of Freedom game. That I guess it was well known for its advertising campaign
Oh.
and box art, but also because like it played really fast and was kind of like used as a showcase by a lot of 3D graphics accelerator companies.
I feel like that one has a recent remaster too.
Yep, they did remaster Forsaken recently.
Sure did. Yeah.
Good
reviews on it.
Oh yeah, no, it is a really fast-paced Descent-like game. That's a bit less on the story and a bit more on like, I'm gonna drop you into this map, just shoot shit and make it to the end before
Sold.
the timer runs out. So it's
you did Descent recently, right? What was that 6 DOF?
Overload.
Overload.
Yeah.
Overload. Okay, sorry.
Overload and Sublevel 0 and Everspace.
And I kept trying to watch it. And I was just like,
Yeah,
Yep.
it can be a little nauseating if you're not the one in control.
Yeah. So yeah, Forsaken looks pretty cool. I played through the first map. Didn't get too far. I just wanted to make sure that it worked on my old school machine, which it does. It's 60 FPS. It's great. Let's see. Also, I picked up an Extreme G2 actual CD. So I got the CD audio. I can actually play the game with that. And so when I do runs of it, I'm gonna have the CD audio playing because
Why
it's
wouldn't
way
you?
better with the music. It's a racing game. Come on.
Yeah.
I also picked up Mech Warrior 2. I haven't booted it, but I recall it also being kind of like a really well-known game back in the day. I also picked up Sonic CD, also for Windows 95.
Oh my goodness.
And that has all the CD audio and stuff like that. So I haven't played that one yet, but I have it. I picked up Sonic R. That's the disappointing thing that I picked up.
Sonic R.
So, Sonic R is a really bizarre Sega racing game that doesn't involve vehicles.
Oh, right. Yes, okay. I know this now.
yeah,
the
and the
repression
PC
is lifted.
The PC game
Yeah.
was a port of the Sega Saturn Sonic R.
Okay. Yeah, yep.
And the reason why I was so disappointed when I received it was not the quality of the disc. The disc arrived in immaculate shape. The jewel case arrived in immaculate shape.
I'm hearing a butt here.
But
Lots of buttons.
Oh no.
I went to go and extract the CD image because like I like to play off of solid state whenever I can. And the image only ended up being like 100 and some megs, right? And I'm like, that can't be.
This is small for.
Well, yeah, but it's chock full of like CD audio, right?
Yeah.
Then I went
exactly.
and looked at the table of contents for the disc. No music whatsoever.
What?
Yeah, these assholes shipped a version of Sonic R that doesn't contain any of the music at all.
I'm sorry. When I heard this story initially, I was just kind of like, ugh.
I was so angry. So I was all like, what the crap? And so I went looking online, and apparently, like, this specific release really just does not have CD audio. Like,
That's super dumb.
yeah.
But hey, at least it's on Spotify.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
And oh my god, it is the most 90s thing you have ever heard. So go ahead and throw this on at your leisure. It's
Not
a
on
good
stream.
time.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah,
they don't
not
even
on
let me
stream.
play a little ditty of it
Yeah.
off of Spotify without signing up. No, fuck that. I ain't doing that. Oh, well, okay.
It's,
I'll bookmark this one for later.
Yeah,
though.
it's an adventure.
Okay.
So yeah, I got that.
Oh, that's disappointment.
I know. I was so sad because I wanted that. I wanted that so I could share it with some friends and be like, you want a throwback? Like, check this track out. And now I don't get to do that. It's been
Kids,
ripped
you want
away
some
from me.
baseball?
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So there's that.
I recall it not even being a spectacular game.
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's just I got it
It's
for the
like-
nostalgia, and I want to run Sonic R on PC on stream with music. With
Okay.
music, damn it.
Yeah, right? That's the one thing that makes that experience tolerable.
I know. It's the music is part of the aesthetic. It's required. And so my solution is going to end up being getting the soundtrack and then
Ooh.
burning it to a disc as an audio only disc. And then mounting that
And popping that shit
with the no
in,
CD
and-
thing on the PC. And
Oh my god.
that means it's so like, well, not eligible for leaderboards anymore. Not that I ever plan to get up on them,
Rip.
but
Nobody will know.
not gonna do that.
It'll probably be pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Why is this loading so fast? Shut up.
don't worry about it.
Why isn't the track changing with the, the game?
Don't worry about it. But yeah, that's gosh, I'm so upset about that. And then this next one isn't a game, but finally I got my own copy of Windows 98 Second Edition with my own CD key, and it's
Okay.
Windows 98 Plus exclamation mark.
The plus pack.
I don't know what's so plus about it, but it's something plus.
I think we had that when I was growing up.
It's probably got like themes or some extra sound
I think
effects
it
or
was
something.
the entertainment packs. I think it included the hover game or whatever.
That was
God,
95.
Was it 95?
That was 95.
Okay. Which is the one I was thinking of? Didn't have pinball because I think that was Millennium and above.
Yeah.
I feel like there was one other identifying factor of it that I'm just not recalling now. Oh well.
Yeah. It's what it has a demo of Microsoft Golf Lite.
Oh.
So there's that.
I did like Microsoft Golf.
Microsoft Golf was pretty
fun.
primo. Line up that shot, look at the little mini map, and be like, "We're gonna yellow this. Hey, hole in one! I just shot through the trees."
It's in the sand.
I played a lot of that at one of my aunt and uncle's houses because
Yeah.
they were the ones that had like the newest computer all the time, and back then for me that was
Nice.
Windows 95. But
Just between excavating that and excavating this 1,000 game shareware CD on stream.
yeah. Oh,
Whoa. There's a lot of
I've
gems in
got
there,
some-
I'm sure.
I've got so much to go. I'm inspired by ancient DOS games.
yeah, you are.
Shovelware Diggers. So that's a series where like people submit, like you have the whole directory of the CD, right? And so viewers what they'll do is they'll pick like a directory that sounds kind of cool
Roll
and-
a D1000
and
Got
suggest to him, hey, check this game out,
Oh,
and he'll
no.
check it out on stream. And most of them are really terrible.
Oh yeah.
it. Go figure.
So, but definitely check it out. Yeah.
I should see if I can find my old shareware collection CDs. Got at least 2 or 3 of them somewhere. Maybe not here, but there's like a 150 in one, or 250
Yeah.
in one, or 300 in one, or something. It's just like, oh yeah, I mean, half of them don't boot,
It's
but hey, they're
it's,
there.
it's great because this CD is very, very obviously someone scraped a BBS and burned it onto a disc. But they only made it through like the letter L.
Volume 2 for M through Z.
Yep.
My goodness.
Yep. So that's gonna be my adventure. And then of course I've been playing DDR and Pump It Up 20 and stuff like that. Still haven't stopped rhythm gaming, so
Well, good. Don't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop. Don't stop.
yeah.
All right. So between the last show and this one, it was a pretty short time. Obviously 3 weeks, but I still managed to knock out one game on stream. Played Ronin. It's a kind of a side-on stealth, sneaking around and then slicing people up. You're a ninja wearing a biker helmet for some god awful reason.
Which era is this ninja from?
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't think they ever specified a year. But anyways, the interesting hook to it was that it was a turn-based game, or it was a turn-based game as soon as you engaged in combat. So you could free run and climb up walls and hook onto ceilings and shit. But as soon as you got into kind of a little encounter with an enemy, it would be turn-based. And it would give you like little preview lines of what the enemy would do, so you could jump out of the way or try to slice him real quick and get on with it. This is really very interesting implementation of it. Very fun too. Very kind of short, so it was like a week and a half I spent on it, which is kind of a bummer because it ended up being real fun. But Ronan is now done and taken care of. Started up playing Mother Gunship, which is a first-person. I hesitate to call it a bullet hell, but there are a lot of bullets in it. But the conceit to this one is that you build your own guns out of modular parts and shit, and you the bigger and more powerful gun that you build, the more energy it uses, so you can't fire it for very long before you have to let it recharge and shit. And then all the arenas are buzzword procedurally generated.
Yeah. Of course.
Which is interesting, but I've been playing it for long enough now that you kind of recognize the same kind of patterns to it. And it's just like, okay, it's still cool. It's still cool and it's still fun. it's starting to feel a little samey, which is kind of a bummer. But
So would you say then that instead of a bullet hell, it's more of a bullet heck?
yeah, it doesn't quite rise to the bullet hell status. It maybe a bullet purgatory, perhaps. Um,
Oh my, sorry. I need to tell you about something after this.
Okay, very good.
Uh-huh.
So it's a lot of fun. I think I'll spend one more week with it and then kind of put it to bed, and in the hopes that I make it through the campaign. It's just a very loose story around it, which is fine. Which is fine for me. I don't really care much for the story aspect of it anyway, so whatever. On the Shmup Book Club front, January we finished up with Sky Adventure, which is a real treat. Really not great soundtrack. Funny ass English is really fun. I'm sure EI can speak more to that than I can. But it was a thing for January. It was a thing for January. February, our shmup is now Blazing Star, which is
Okay.
a pretty good one. You know, in my very limited experience of most shmups of pretty much the last 30 years. Very fun. So we'll see how that one goes. We had our first kind of group session with that last night on Thursday nights, as we all kind of try to get together around the same time, play them on stream, and give hell to everybody. Just really verbally shitpost, as EI is fond of saying.
Bullet hell to everybody.
Yeah, a little bit. Full of good ones tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And then our shmup for the first quarter of 2020 is Zero Ranger. We played that for one of the monthlies, not last year, maybe the year before. It's been a while since we've actually done that one.
Wasn't that a marathon game too?
Myself
okay.
and EI did the co-op story mode in,
Right.
I think that was last year's Extra Life Marathon, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, we're revisiting that one. We're kind of waiting for the content update for it, but we just got sick of waiting for it, I guess, and we just picked it for the quarterly. So that's fun. That's always a good game to play. I like it, of course. And then, of course, Salt Andrew Cactus. Continuing to practice mega campaign, since that's going to be upcoming for Extra Life 2020 in April. You can look forward to that. The mega campaign is really interesting. The mega weapons that substitute for normal secondaries. I think I mentioned this last time. It's faster overall, but it's just it's such a minor change, but it causes such a different perspective on routing and speed tech and all that. It's very, very interesting to kind of go from very muscle memory, very different primary and secondary weapons to suddenly, now your primary and secondary are quite similar. But you have to handle them differently, even though they kind of have the same kind of output. But that's it. That's all I've been playing recently. Have we earned more Toonskis? Is the real
First,
question.
though, the thing that I wanted to bring up.
Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned the word heck, which of course reminded me of Eon.
Okay. Yeah. Naturally.
Eon made a new friend recently and made her a shirt design, and apparently this is happening.
Oh.
Why am I not surprised?
That's what I said. I was like, "Oh, this is very you," and she's like, "Is that a compliment?" Thank you.
Not sure if.
Yeah. So I may get one.
You gotta.
I gotta.
Oh my goodness. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Toonskis, right?
Yeah.
Peace and
Toonskis.
Bliss by Blue Lighter from Final Fantasy X.
And then a remix from Mega Man X5 entitled Firefly by Sir Nuts and USA.
And finally, a remix from Skies of Arcadia titled The Silver Crystal by D-Dubs.
All right. Well, banger songs, banger designs, right?
that.
Nope.
Oh, disappointment.
It is a design.
Is it?
I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these could be considered a design.
Yeah, that's true.
Loose sense of the word.
We have made so many of these.
We, like, if you think about it, right? So let's charitably call. I think we figured this out last time. But when you joined Saxxon, it was like 11 or 12, round 11 or 12. So
Yeah.
if you think about that, that's like 64, 65 rounds times 3 designs is, we're upwards of 200 at this
Yeah.
point between us all, and that's not even. That's probably being pretty liberal with the stuff that we've done too, because I think we've had a couple revisits. We've had a couple where we skipped ad hoc for doing like marathon reviews or something like that
That's true.
too.
Yeah.
But I'd say close to 200 is probably about where we're sitting at this point, which is a lot.
Yeah.
That's
A
money.
gold
A
rupees
revisit
worth of
does
designs.
sound kind of
Right?
fun, though.
Yeah. So I'll break ranks a little bit and kick us off.
Yeah, why not?
All right.
This time. So apropos of Ronin, which I played the past few weeks here, I've got a perfect stealth game
Okay.
where you don't attack anybody. Your goal is to get from one end of a level or a map or whatever to the end.
Okay.
Or to the other end rather, without being seen, without being heard, without affecting the environment in any possible way. And you get points for doing it well, and you lose points for leaving behind traces that you were there, either through noises or deforming the environment or stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay.
So you fail by getting seen directly by like a guard or a camera or some by some token, like some detector or some enemy makes direct visual contact with you. Okay, level over.
Point.
Yeah, like all right. So yeah, that's the kind of the fail condition, but it's pretty loose. Like you can do a lot of fuck ups and still make it through the level. But kind of by the opposite token is that there will always be a way through the level to do it, quote unquote, perfectly. To not have anything see you, for you to not leave any traces, or whatever traces you leave kind of erode away over time. So that's it's like you were never there. to
Right.
begin
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
So you get from one end of the map for a building or a forest or a valley or whatever, some sort of very linear area, to the next. Cameras, microphones, and guards have sight, hearing radius, and cones, and there's some way for you to tell what they are, so you're just not going in blind. Haha, vision pun. So you start with your perfect base score from the very beginning. So obviously you haven't made any noise, you haven't affected the environment in any way, nothing has seen you. So your base score, let's just for the sake of being round, let's call it 1,000 points. You get 1,000 points base score. And then you lose that base score as you perform actions that get you noticed. So if you leave a footprint and say some dirt or something that a guard or a camera picks up, well, there goes a few points off your base score. You haven't failed because they haven't seen you, but they know that something is going wrong here.
Okay. So if you happen to leave something behind like this and it isn't caught, do you still lose the points?
Nope.
Ah.
No, you weren't detected. So say you walk through a river or something, you leave footprints on the riverbed. Okay, so those are there for a little bit, but eventually the water washing over it eventually just erodes it away, so it's like you were never there.
Yeah.
This also extends to objects within the environment. So say you want to move a chair, you damn well better put it back. Otherwise, they're going to see, oh, shit, somebody moved this chair, but nobody should have. Something's gone wrong. Oh, bye-bye, some of your base score. You done fucked up.
I would do a low percent run of this. How close to 0 can you get and still succeed?
Right. Well, you don't fail by losing all of your base score,
Yeah.
really. I guess the lowest it could probably be is 1, really, because otherwise, 0 score is pretty much, you may as well just restart anyways, right?
Yeah.
But if you do manage to fail the level, you get your whatever your base score happens to be, but you don't get any sort of bonus to it. So like maybe your score ends up being the percentage of the map or building or whatever that you got through before you failed. So you end up getting 0.15 if you made it 15% of the way through. Obviously, it's not really a great score. It's going to be super low, but you didn't complete the level, so you don't. Why would you even count it? But it's in the board for you to do better because you better do better. If you do manage to make it through the level, you get a time bonus multiplier associated with how fast you went. And similarly to not really being able to fail if you're not seen directly, there's no real time limit. Like you won't fail just by running out of time. You just won't get a time bonus at the end if you're ultra slow. So you can take it nice and safe and make sure you're taking the most circuitous path possible
Yeah.
to avoid being seen or hurt or whatever. But the better score is trying to be as direct as possible, but also not leaving any traces that you were there. So trying to avoid walking on the ground, trying to avoid using destructive things on the environment, like climbing on the walls will leave marks. So probably not trying to climb on the walls. Go slow so you're not leaving deep footprints on stuff or causing loud sounds, but also go as fast as you can without kind of doing that stuff in order to get the best time bonus at the end.
Makes sense.
And that's it. Very good. Very, very
I'm
simple.
already thinking of like flawless modes where like any mistake that you make whatsoever fails you
Right.
and
Fail
it's
and
kinda
auto
like a
restart and
hardcore-
all that. Yeah.
Maybe like a training mode, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, not even a training mode so much as though like how many levels can you get through with increasing difficulty before you fail. That kind of thing.
So, proc gen?
That would be really difficult to do.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think.
think so.
In order to have a leaderboard that's fair.
In order to have a
You'd
leaderboard that's
also-
fair.
Daily seed, though. That could
Yeah,
be a thing.
daily seed certainly, and also guaranteeing that there is a perfect path that you can take.
Right.
It would be really hard to do if it was all
kind of sounds
proc
like you'd want to like handcraft some of these,
gen.
Yeah, no,
or
that
at the
makes
very
sense.
least like make it half
Ooh.
proc gen where it's like with the weekly seed as you mentioned, but like there's still some things that you like handcraft into each of these levels.
Sure,
Weapon
sure.
effects.
Yeah.
Something like that. Maybe
yeah.
that's randomized. I don't know.
Could mask your sounds and also speed
Yeah.
the erosion of the effects that you leave behind, but also maybe make it a little bit more dangerous to traverse certain areas, certain outside areas of the thing, and kind of
So-
cut off your normal paths.
Would this be a first-person kind of thing, or top-down, or?
I was thinking either top-down or a side-on type thing,
Yeah,
like
sure.
more of a platformy-ish thing.
I could see this working as a platforming
Yeah,
thing.
top-down might be a little bit difficult to convey. I don't know. I'm kind of
That-
torn
that-
between both of those.
Yeah, you could still convay like vision cones really easily from a
Mhm.
top down.
Yeah, you
yeah.
can.
Sure can.
Oh, God. Nice. You wanna
Anyways,
go,
that's
or
what I
should
got.
Okay,
Next.
yeah, I'll go next then.
Okay.
Mine's gonna be pretty short. So I've been on a bit of a skating game kick lately, and so I kind of thought that it would be kind of cool if we could take that and combine it with another concept of a game that I really enjoyed that was spurred on in the 90s. Arena shooters. So think arena shooter,
Okay.
but you are like kind of a combatant that's effectively like playing for money, right?
Okay. Smash TV.
Smash
Okay.
TV is it's very much the same kind of ideas as that as far as like environment, atmosphere, and premise, right? However, you are also either on like a skateboard or rollerblades, just basically something that has like tiny wheels and you can get propelled by it. You could have different stats for the different kinds of vehicles and stuff like that. So
This is suggesting shades of Sunset Overdrive a little bit.
never
Yeah.
heard.
Really?
Yeah.
I've heard the name. I'm just not familiar with the game.
It's a first-person shooter. Tried to capitalize on the whole battle royale thing that was just kind of starting at the time, but it never really took off all
Okay.
that well. It was very, I don't know what decade aesthetic you would consider. Maybe 60s or 70s, very neon, very hot pink,
Yep.
lots of splashes of huge color
Yep.
around, and
Yeah.
it just never really did well,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But anyway, sorry. Proceed.
Yep. So you're always moving. You always have to be moving. And you will around these arenas. You can find like different weaponry and stuff like that. Rocket launchers, machine guns, just all sorts of like typical weaponry. We've seen arena shooters. Pretty much any kind of like practical weapon design has been thought. So we'll have to go like for some of the more outrageous ones. Maybe a grappling hook for some really fun physics. Yes. So
I'm just sighing at EI.
Rocket
Yeah.
lawn chairs. That's right.
So you'll have as you're moving really fast, you'll have the ability to like lock your camera to particular targets, and so that allows you, while you're moving fast through the environment, like kind of pivot and start, like firing at the other combatants and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And causing damage will gain you money because, obviously it's all like you're doing something that the viewers love. So of course we're going to incentivize that.
Yeah.
And so
Burnout.
it's not going to be the person who gets the most kills necessarily, as it is like whoever is, kind of doing like the most showy, the most flashy thing. The more difficult the maneuver, of course, you're going to get even more yet.
Style points.
Yes. In addition, like you'll also be able to do like, tricks. You'll be able to get like gap bonuses and stuff like that as you leap over obstacles and just, grind on like lips and whatnot. So,
Sure.
and rails and, all the really fun terrain that, like Tony Hawk had introduced. So, yeah, and that's pretty much what it is. You are a walking arsenal. You can carry every weapon at once if you wanna swap between them. I really don't care for inventory limits in games like these. You pick up stuff, you got it.
So Doom guy on a skateboard.
Doom guy on a skateboard. It could be Quake guy too.
Rocket powered
whatever
skateboard. There we are.
Whatever Quake guy's name is, I'm not really sure.
Just gotta make sure those weapons come right out of the chest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Always.
So, but yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Neat.
That's all I got.
Very good.
All right. So, think back to actual physical games you had to play. When your parents took the Game Boy away and all that.
We fit.
Sure. That.
I mean, it's physical here. You're not wrong.
Physical.
Okay.
So, Labyrinth, a game where you have maze-like structures made out of wood, typically, where you roll a marble through it and you have to gyrate
yeah.
the thing. Yeah. So we make that digitally and we make it a twin stick.
Okay.
Cool. So, aptly named, it is called Labyrinth for now. Genre is a twin-stick puzzle platformer. Think about that one. Single player. Input method, given that it's a twin stick, is kind of required to have two sticks. I don't care how. A controller, probably. Graphic style, 3D. Makes sense. Audio style, suspenseful. We want to make you amped up and nervous. Point of view, second and third person hybrid, depending on the mode.
A second person.
Yeah, there's a good YouTube video out there about that, about using second person camera in game. You should go check it out. It's actually pretty legit. Story, none, really. Hook, you are both the person controlling the labyrinth puzzle and the ball that rolls through it. So the ball itself has some ability to control where and how fast it moves, and the control between the puzzle tilting and the ball switches frequently. Think One Mind. Your inventory, none. Mechanics, you need to navigate through these various puzzles by both controlling the puzzle's tilt and by moving the ball, depending on which control scheme is active when. So you get to choose between a couple different difficulties in how often that control changes. Sometimes there will be items on your path or markers that would instantly change whatever you happen to be doing. Usually they're going to be hidden right around blind corners and things like that, so you need to be reactive to.
So you don't directly control when that switches.
That's correct.
I mean, aside from the markers as you mentioned. Okay.
So, I mean, if you slow down and you see a marker ahead of time, you're going to be like, okay, get my bearings.
Okay.
Ball bearings. Wow. Anyway. And the objective is really just to complete the puzzles as quickly as possible without falling into holes. Because Labyrinth, you have to get to an end goal, and if you fall in pits, you have to start over. So
you just turn it over and
jiggle it out. Yeah. So yeah, that is the game.
Can you describe second person quickly?
Yeah. So
what that constitutes?
Yeah.
Like, my thought of it is like the camera or whatever facing some amount of distance away from you and then pointed at the entity that you're focusing on.
Kind of. So the way that it's most frequently described, so you have the first person, which is me. I am
Mhm.
the person.
Yeah.
You have third person, which describes he, she, they, whatever pronouns.
Yep.
And then second person, it's the you do this. And because you are shifting between two views constantly, you become the third person. And sometimes you are the person acting. So think about like a choose your own adventure book.
Uh-huh.
So you walk into a dimly lit corridor, you see entrances on your left and right. You turn to page 71 to go left, etc. So you is guiding you through a narrative. And because your viewpoint changes, you're working against yourself.
Okay.
So you're turning the labyrinth manually from the outside sometimes, and you are the ball trying not to fall in the hole other times. So it's this interesting combination of I have the agency, but then I don't, but I do in a different context, that kind of thing.
Interesting. Okay.
So you're basically working against yourself and with yourself the entire time. So that I kind of constituted that as a second person kind of thing.
Right.
So there is an excellent example in the big video out there that that really kind of demonstrates, hey, this is what I think this is. Worth a watch. I don't have the link handy. I could probably pull it up for you later. But it's basically, it was a racing game where you had these stories and it was a thing. And later on, one of the chapters, you became the car that was driving, sort of. So, like, you followed yourself and you saw in first person mode, normally you'd be driving your own car, but you were driving the car that was out in front of you instead.
I see.
In that
okay.
mission.
Okay, I think I get it.
So it
Alright.
was, it messed with perspective. So that kind of thing that's going together, like either you don't grasp the concept and you constantly fail and you can't work with it, or you have to think on both sides simultaneously in order to strategize what you might want to do. So it's very much you have to coordinate in your mind how you visualize this stuff so that you keep it straight.
Okay. Okay.
Yay.
Hooray. We did. See? We did it.
Yeah.
We've
Sure
we've
did.
done it
We
again.
made it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're coming to the end of round 76 here at Insert Credits. Any final closing remarks that needs to be said? I know I ask this every time. Usually it's like, nah, we're done. Let's get out of here. Right?
It's going to be a healthy 6 weeks before you see us again. Don't miss us too much.
6 weeks? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Is it 5 or 6?
5.
Is it
5
5?
sounds
I believe
right.
5 because
That's fair.
February being short and
Fair enough. All right.
which is
5
fine.
weeks.
It's certainly longer than 3, like it was this past time. So,
But of course, that's going
Also
to be. No, that isn't the show before Extra Life.
1, 2, 3.
We still have one show in April before Extra Life.
Correct. Yes.
So cool. We'll have a
Yes.
normal show next time. Never mind.
Hooray! Back on schedule.
For now.
Well, thank you very much for watching and or listening, everybody. I'm Mr. Bond.
I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track, a remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled Wind in Your Hair by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Adios.